Daizawa, thank you for joining us. Here are the weekly highlights of Arakan. Regime conducts air operations over Arakan State from 4 air bases. Essential commodity prices surge amid blockades, trade disruptions in Arakan State. Hundreds of IDP shelters damaged by heavy rain, strong winds hit Arakan State. Over 30 Sittwe residents detained in 3 days during guest list checks. Air ticket prices to Manaung soared to more than double the official rate. Regime-appointed Arakan CM claims development plans underway amid widespread hardship. Fighting has continued across Arakan State for more than 2 years as the Arakan Army presses its offensives. From April 27 to May 3rd of 2026, we'll be bringing you key developments regarding the situation in Arakan. Regime conducts air operations over Arakan State from 4 air bases. According to ex-regime Air Force (ERA), an air monitoring group, the military regime is conducting sustained air operations against townships in Arakan State using 4 key air bases as part of efforts to exert pressure on local populations. ERA released a statement on April 28th warning of continued air threats across the state. The report identifies Dadau, Maitila, Nibido, and Magwe as the primary air bases used to launch widespread airstrikes. Residents reported that on April 29th, the regime carried out coordinated airstrikes near the Mongkri Bridge on the border of Ponajan and Sittwe townships, as well as the Mazo Island in Rakhine township. ERA noted that while Arakan Army controls 14 out of 17 townships in Arakan State as well as Palawa township in Chin State, the regime is deliberately targeting civilians with bombing campaigns, mirroring tactics previously used in northern Shan State. The report also states that the regime has shifted from deploying single aircraft to launching coordinated strikes with multiple jets, dropping large volumes of bombs simultaneously. According to DMG data, at least 491 civilians have been killed and 839 injured in regime airstrikes in Arakan State between April 2024 and April 2026, despite inviting ethnic armed groups, including the Arakan Army and People's Defense Forces, to peace talks within 100 days. The regime continues to escalate attacks on the ground. Essential commodity prices surge amid blockades, trade disruptions in Arakan State. Prices of basic food and household commodities have sharply increased across Arakan State as Myanmar military blockades disrupt trade routes, while recent arrests of traders by Arakan Army have further strained supply flows. Around a week ago, prices of key items included 7,000 jets per vis of onion, 10,000 jets per vis of garlic, 7,500 jets per liter of Indian cooking oil, 25,000 jets per sack of Sunday coffee mix, and 10,000 jets per vis of ginger. Market prices have now risen to around 10,000 jets per vis of onion, 15,000 jets per vis of garlic, 10,000 jets per liter of cooking oil, 27,000 jets per sack of coffee mix, and 18,000 jets per vis of ginger, according to local traders. While most essential goods are becoming more expensive, the price of dried yellow prawns, as one of Arakan State's local products, have dropped from around 100,000 jets per vis to about 50,000 jets. Since fighting escalated in November 2023, trade routes in Arakan State have been heavily restricted, forcing reliance on limited supply corridors via India and Magwe-Saw Road. Merchants say movement has become more difficult after the military established a permanent base and expanded checkpoints along the Ganji village route linking Arakan State and Saw. The Arakan Army has also reportedly detained traders and youths at checkpoints in Palawa Township, accusing them of attempting to leave the state. Following these arrests, boat operators, drivers, and merchants say they are increasingly avoiding travel to India to procure goods, further reducing supply. Some traders are also accused of increasing prices on existing stocks, worsening trade pressure on consumers. Residents already facing conflict-related hardship warn that further price increases could deepen food insecurity across the state. Hundreds of IDP shelters damaged as heavy rain, strong winds hit Arakan State. Internally displaced persons, IDPs, in Arakan State are facing severe difficulties after heavy rain and strong winds in recent days damaged their shelters, leaving many unable to carry out repairs. On April 29th, heavy rainfall and strong winds struck Arakan State, damaging the roofs of approximately 500 IDP shelters in Ponajan Township, according to aid workers. The IDP shelters, which are temporary huts made of bamboo, nipa palm leaves, and tarpaulin sheets, were unable to withstand the severe weather. In Chabru and Remir townships, where over 30,000 IDPs are sheltering, more than 10,000 people are reportedly facing difficulties due to a lack of secure housing. Many IDPs are living in temporary shelters along roadsides, in open fields and near forested hills, facing natural disasters alongside ongoing livelihood challenges. Over 2,000 IDPs in Rakhine Township said financial hardship has made it impossible to repair their homes. Similarly, IDP camps in Chauto, Mombra, Gua, and Dalgo townships are in urgent need of shelter assistance. Since fighting resumed in Arakan State in November 2023, more than 600,000 people have been displaced, facing a lack of aid, rising commodity prices, and limited job opportunities, along with increasing exposure to natural disasters. Over 30 Sittwe residents detained in 3 days during guest list checks. Residents in Sittwe, the capital of Arakan State, currently under regime control, report that junta officials are conducting surprise overnight guest list checks in crowded neighborhoods and public areas to carry out arrests and extort money. Junta personnel conducted these surprise inspections for 3 consecutive days, from April 24th to 26th, in neighborhoods including Shripita, Nazi, Ontabin, and Mutagi, arresting nearly 30 local residents. Locals added that the current status of the detainees and whether they will be released remains unknown. Under the pretext of conducting overnight guest list checks, the regime is inspecting not only residential neighborhoods, but also displacement camps and monasteries where internally displaced persons are staying. Since the fighting began in Sittwe Township, the Arakan Liberation Party and the regime have been working together to arrest and extort locals, press gang individuals into porter fees, and dismantle vacant houses to sell the materials. In Sittwe Township, the regime and the Arakan army remain in a standoff, with frequent exchanges of heavy artillery fire due to the regime's strict security measures, arrests, and blockades within Sittwe. Basic manual laborers and internally displaced persons are facing significant hardships. Air ticket prices to Manaung soared to more than double the official rate. Air ticket prices for flights between Manaung and Yangon have risen to more than twice the official rate, according to local residents. Although the official ticket price for the Yangon to Manaung route is set at 630,000 jets, tickets are currently being sold for up to 1.5 million jets. Flight services to Manaung were suspended after the 2021 military coup and resumed on April 24th under the leadership of the junta chief Manaung Line. Flights now operate 3 times a week, connecting Manaung with Yangon, Jiaopru, and Sittwe. Tickets are sold by Myanmar National Airlines and Manaung Public Company. Although the resumption of flights was intended to ease travel for residents, some locals say it mainly benefits ticket sellers. The service resumed 5 months after Ubashain, founder of the Rakhine Nationalities Party, promised in November 2025 to arrange flights to Manaung. There are also criticisms that the expansion of flight services is aimed at supporting military logistics rather than public transportation. Among the 3 towns in Arakan State still under regime control, active fighting is ongoing in Jiaopru and Sittwe, while Manaung has not yet seen clashes. Regime-appointed Arakan CM claims development plans underway amid widespread hardship. Regime-appointed Chief Minister U Nai U has stated that plans are being implemented to create job opportunities for internally displaced persons and grassroots communities in Arakan State. He made the remarks during a meeting with Sittwe residents held yesterday at U Odoma Hall in Sittwe. According to the regime-controlled Ministry of Information, the meeting was attended by U Nai U, Arakan State Parliament Speaker Dr. Sittwe, members of the state government, and departmental officials. The Arakan State government appointed by Myanmar Line includes ministers overseeing security, economy, social affairs, transport, agriculture, natural resources, municipal affairs, and Chin ethnic affairs. U Nai U also said the administration is prioritizing food security and continuing efforts to strengthen the education sector. However, a Sittwe resident said locals are facing rising commodity prices, livelihood difficulties, and frequent arrests. Out of Arakan State's 17 townships, the Arakan Army controls 14, while the regime maintains administrative control over Sittwe, Jiaopru, and Manaung. Clashes between the regime and the Arakan Army continue in Sittwe Township, with frequent airstrikes reported. These were the main highlights of the past week in Arakan. This program is presented every Tuesday, so please stay tuned. May all people of Arakan and the world stay healthy and safe.